Hello and welcome to World News Today. Well, we'll begin in Turkey. There have been dramatic scenes outside a courthouse near the capital, Ankara, where the trial has started for nearly 500 people accused of plotting to overthrow the government in last year's attempted coup. 40 of the plot's alleged leaders were marched in, heckled by government supporters and relatives of those who died in the coup. Some of those on trial are facing charges from attempting to assassinate the president to murder. The BBC's Middle East analyst Sebastian Usher has more.
One by one, the alleged leaders of a coup were marched up to the court. An angry crowd, including both relatives of those killed during the coup and some of those wounded during the violence, chanted demands for the return of the death penalty, which was abolished in Turkey years ago. For some in the crowd, the treatment of the accused was already too lenient.
It is not normal that the state is feeding these assassins. We want to see them with chains around their feet. They shouldn't even come with civilian clothes on, but instead with their prison clothes.
The last time some of the suspects, like the Air Force commander Aykan Öztürk, were seen in public, it was in the immediate aftermath of the coup, when their faces were bruised and bloody. There's no doubting the anger that the attempted coup provoked, not just amongst President Erdogan's supporters, but many other Turkish people as well. With the streets of Ankara and Istanbul coming under attack and more than 250 people killed during the night of July the 15th last year. The first anniversary of the defeat of the coup was celebrated just 2 weeks ago with a huge rally in Istanbul that was addressed by President Erdogan, who inaugurated a monument to those who died. His position has been strengthened by the coup. His critics say that he's used it to target all his opponents. Some 50,000 people remain in detention in connection with the coup. But the man the Turkish government accused of being behind it, the Muslim cleric Fethullah Gulen, remains in the United States, despite Ankara's repeated demands for his extradition. He's being tried in absentia in this, the biggest trial so far of coup suspects. For now, they face life imprisonment if convicted, but the calls for them to receive the ultimate punishment are only likely to grow as their trial continues through the rest of this month. Sebastian Usher, BBC News.
Well, Aykan Erdemir is a former opposition MP in Turkey, now based at the Policy Institute, the Foundation for the Defence of Democracies in Washington, and he's live with us here on BBC World News. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Do you approve of the use of mass trials in these circumstances?
Now, this is a historic trial because, as you know, Turkey has had a string of coups d'etats, failed or successful, and rarely has anyone been brought to court. Turkey has a culture of impunity and there's lack of accountability. So this is a turning point for Turkish justice system. And as you can see from the reports, there is across the political spectrum support for the trial of coup plotters. However, having said that, there are major concerns among the opposition that there's a lack of rule of law and due process. There are concerns that the ongoing trials could be used as part of witch hunts to go after opposition figures who have nothing to do with the coup. And also, there are concerns that some of the state officials who have been culpable or negligent in the run-up to and in the aftermath of the coup could be basically spared from these trials. So there are still questions of transparency and accountability.
Well, you say some opponents have concerns that these trials could be used for political means. You were an opposition MP. Do you have those concerns? Do you believe these trials will inevitably become political?
Now, what I think most, including me, agree on that all coup plotters should be brought before court, and this should be an example for Turkish politics, that there is accountability, that there is...
I understand that very few people in Turkey would suggest coup plotters should not be brought to court. That wasn't what I was asking you. I was asking you whether you believe these trials can remain apolitical.
Actually, from what we can see so far with the number of people purged and detained, there certainly are a large number of individuals who have nothing to do with the coup, who have nothing to do with the plotters, and who have been targeted simply because they are in the opposition. So this is a growing concern, not only for me, but for the opposition across the spectrum in Turkey.
So thank you for your time. We appreciate you joining us on World News Today. Well, let's turn to